This is an evening that fans have been anticipating for months. The Stan Musial Harmonica giveaway. How many times has a friend said to you, I'll meet you at the Stan the Man statue at Busch Stadium? Well, tonight many have gathered for the Brewers and Cardinals in a weekend series. When we come back, a special ceremony honoring the greatest Cardinal of them all.
Since the passing of Stan Musial in January, Cardinal Nation, Major League Baseball, and the rest of the baseball world have all done their part to pay tribute to one of the greatest players in baseball history. Tonight, our hope is not to remind ourselves of the sadness or profound loss shared by the family, but rather to celebrate the life and accomplishments of Stan Musial with his family and 40,000 of his closest friends. Remembering the great accomplishments are easy. The lifetime batting mark of .331, 475 home runs, 3,630 hits, and the joy we felt from his trips around the field, followed by his trademark left-handed swing. What makes tonight difficult is finding a new way to pay our respects to a man that already has 2 statues outside the building, his retired number in center field under the scoreboard, his picture on the wall, his own plaza outside of Gate 3 where his statue sits, and most recently a patch worn by the team which is also displayed in left center field. Our goal for tonight was to remember Stan and celebrate with the fans the way Stan would have tried to do it. In some way, try to remind ourselves of his delightful presence, wonderful humor, and the gifted talent he had for playing the harmonica that enthralled generations of fans. If Stan were here tonight, he would probably have wanted to personally autograph 40,000 balls, pictures, and cards for everyone. So we thought it only fitting to share Stan's other most notable passion, playing his harmonica. As you entered the stadium, most of you were given a little reminder of one of the things that made Stan great outside his baseball accomplishments. Just like Stan, the gift of music from the harmonica is now yours to pass along everywhere you go. Later tonight, in the 6th inning, we will all do our best to pay homage to his rendition of Take Me Out to the Ballpark. In addition to being the greatest player in team history, Stan Musial was the most beloved member of the Cardinals family. With us on the field tonight, representing Stan and Lil, is the entire Musial family that has come together from all parts of the country. Please join us in welcoming the four children. We have Dick Stanley Musial and his son, Jerry Musial Ashley and her daughter and granddaughter, Janet Musial Schwarzy and her daughter and son, and Jean Musial Edmonds, her son and two daughters. Also joining us are members of the current Cardinals team. Stan's personal code of conduct, professional ethic, and high standard of excellence are the model fans have come to expect from players who wear the birds on the bat. Although his likeness, number, and image around Busch Stadium are constant reminders of Stan as a baseball player, we thought it was important to add to his legacy a reminder of what made Stan the man, the greatest player, our friend, our neighbor. Tonight, we are unveiling a plaque attached to the statue facing Musial Plaza, which will tell the story of the greatest Cardinal of all time, both on and off the field. Now, generations of Cardinals fans will be able to share in the legacy that extends beyond baseball. On the video board is a live look at Musial Plaza and the backside of the Musial statue. We now ask four sailors from the United States Navy, for whom Stan so proudly served, to remove the drape and uncover that plaque. The final chapter in the legacy of a great man. The inscription on the plaque reads,
For more than 70 years, Stan Musial was the heart and soul of the St. Louis Cardinals. As a player, he was the greatest Cardinal and one of the best players in Major League Baseball history. Off the field, he lived with a dignity and charm that endeared him to countless fans across several generations. Born in Donora, Pennsylvania, Musial signed with the Cardinals in 1938. He won World Series titles in 1942, 1944, and 1946, and another in 1967 as general manager. He was a three-time NL MVP, played in 24 All-Star games, and batted .331 lifetime. Upon retirement, he was the NL's leader in games played, runs, hits, doubles, and RBIs, despite missing a season to serve in the Navy. He was never ejected from a game. Musial was a role model and true civic treasure who was actively engaged in business, civic, and charitable work throughout his life. In 2011, he received the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the country's highest civilian honor. At the White House ceremony, President Obama said, "Stan remains to this day an icon untarnished, a beloved pillar of the community, a gentleman you'd want your kids to emulate."
We hope in a small way the plaque conveys what Stan meant to the Cardinals, who he was as a player, and most importantly, who he was as a man. With us on the field to present a replica plaque to the four children of the Musials are Bill DeWitt Jr., John Mozeliak, Bill DeWitt III, and Mike Matheny. And to throw out tonight's ceremonial first pitch are the 7 grandkids of Stan and Lil. They will be led out to the mound by Stan's longtime friend and teammate, Hall of Famer Red Schoendienst. The grandkids are Jeff, Camille, Julie, Brian, Andrew, Lindsay, and Allison. Everybody take aim. When you're ready, let it go. All right. Thank you to the Musial family. Thanks to all of you for coming tonight, and enjoy the ball game.
Fitting tribute to the man. Dedication is through. This is his night, his family's night. We've got baseball coming up next. Is brought to you by Budweiser, the official beer of Major League Baseball. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. See your Mid-America Chevy dealer or log on to stlchevy.com. Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers, #1 for quality tires and expert auto service. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And by Steak and Shake. Steak and Shake, just no equal. Special night here at Busch Stadium. The #6 in the grass in center field. Along with the Mad Hungarian Al Raboski, Rick Horton, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Delighted to have you. The chilly night here at Busch Stadium, but Rick, no doubt a very special night.
Certainly a night where we can look back and celebrate Stan, but as we talked about in the pregame show, we're going to look to the Cardinals' future as well, with Shelby Miller going tonight for the Cardinals, coming off a pretty good start on the road.
What'd you think, Al, of that ceremony?
I'm still drying my eyes. Seriously. You know, I mean, I get emotional every time thinking about the man. He was such a special friend to all of us, and I think Ricky touched on it in the open, that every Cardinal fan could feel like they had a piece of Stan Musial. He was so accessible.
And you know what's amazing about the history of the Cardinals as it relates to Stan Musial? Cardinal fans everywhere, young and old, all connect. And, you know, in an age where less and less people care about history, Cardinal fans still care about Stan Musial.
So many people my wife's age who grew up here in St. Louis, they first met Stan at the restaurant, Stan and Biggie's. And really, and as John was talking about in his rendition, it was just how many people got those cards, autographed cards that Stan Musial would have in his pocket just to hand out to people. He was such a people person.
Great Stan the man. So the Milwaukee Brewers are in town, and you also, when you think about Stan, you also think about 90-year-old Red Shanies.
Yeah, that was as moving as anything in that pregame. Of course, the grandkids being here to throw out the first pitch, that's pretty special to watch that, and to have the current Cardinals there to catch them. And again, that bridge to the future, I think, was kind of obvious. But I think when you think of Red Shanies, you think of him as the real connector to multi-generations of Cardinal players and teammates and fans alike, and to just try to have some empathy for what he must have been going through in this last couple of months, but certainly here tonight celebrating a dear friend and somebody, you know, obviously who's as close to as anybody.
And Al, I thought on opening day, I'm not sure many fans saw it, but you could see the quivering lip of Red Shanies on opening day as they paid tribute to Stan with a terrific video done by the folks here in St. Louis, led by Craig Wilson and the video department here to find some old footage and the highlights of Stan. But boy, you know, we can't overlook what Red means to this franchise and to this fan base too.
Well, and also when you talk about the Milwaukee Brewers, Red was really the glue that put together the Milwaukee Braves. They didn't win until Red Shanies came there and really taught the Milwaukee Braves how to win in the late 50s. And people really have told me that he was the difference maker on those clubs that ultimately won a world championship.
So in a night in which we pay tribute to the man, we also, as Rick said, look to the now, the present, and maybe a little bit of the future as Shelby Miller is stretching there inside the dugout. And last time out, Shelby Miller, very good outing over the weekend against San Francisco.
Yeah, he was right on time. He did walk 4 guys, struck out 4. He's really a strikeout pitcher. But, you know, think about this ceremony through the eyes of Shelby Miller as somebody that is a young guy, just part of an organization, but he sees just the amount of respect that Cardinal fans have for their heroes. I think it's good for him to have gone through that.
And he also sees a little of the past because he was replacing Milwaukee's starter, Kyle Loesch. So he made 1 start here at Busch Stadium. That was last season, the last day of the year, and he was outstanding. And even though Cincinnati won the division, they still had, you know, the Bottos, they had Phillips, Bruce, they had all their guys in that lineup, and he only gave up 1 hit in 6 shutout innings.
This will be the lineup that he will face. Injuries, the story early on for Milwaukee. Aoki, Segura, and Braun, followed by Weeks, Lucroy, Gonzalez, Gomez, Betancourt, and Loesch. Aramis Ramirez is out. They have some big bats that are missing in that lineup. The Dobbs defense as we go around the horn. Holiday in left, Jay in center, and Carlos Beltran is in right. Brewer fans know all about David Freese as much maybe as we do. David Freese tore them up back in 2011 in the postseason. Cosma's at short. Carpenter's been red hot. He's at second. Craig had the day off on Wednesday. Gets the start tonight. And Yadier Molina is behind the plate. That's again presented by Dobbs. And there's a look at big number 40 strikeout pitcher Shelby Miller.
And this is the first chance we have to see the A lineup behind Shelby Miller. Every Cardinal player that we projected to be in the lineup with David Freese out for the first few games certainly haven't had the A lineup. But Miller, there's his numbers in his first start. He did go 5+ innings. Again, 4 walks in that game. But Shelby Miller is a strikeout pitcher. 160 strikeouts in just 136 innings in AAA a year ago.
That was a franchise record at AAA. There's a look at Mike Matheny and Derek Lilliquist. And the numbers don't lie. Shelby, major league level, whether it be in relief or a couple of starts, 19 innings and an ERA that's under 2. So very impressive start in that regard. Ron Renneke, well, he's also been banged up. He had to be escorted to the hospital in Chicago He had back spasms. They were so bad they had to take him to the hospital. So he's among the walking hurt, the walking wounded of this Milwaukee club. As we're underway, and this is Aoki.
I got a topper for you. In spring training, their general manager, Doug Melvin, was hospitalized after being stung by a scorpion.
Now that's really bad.
And that was in his own condo in Phoenix.
1 ball and 1 strike. Outfield is straight away. In on the hands of Aoki for strike 2. 1-2 the count. Got to the ballpark early and the lines were long. We expected a big crowd tonight, even with a chilly evening set for baseball here in St. Louis.
Brewers have had 2 straight off days because they were colded out in Chicago. It's actually listed as a rainout, but I'm told that it was so cold they weren't going to play anyway, and so maybe it seems a little warmer to them here than what they experienced up in the Windy City.
The 2-2 hit out of play. Aoki, his first season with Milwaukee a year ago, and got a chance to play more than they anticipated because of injuries, and he answered. He played very well.
Put on some weight. He's put on between 5 and 10 pounds of muscle, and he's trying to drive the ball more into gaps. When we first saw him, Al, you could really knock the bat out of his hand, but he's gotten stronger.
Up the middle, and a base hit to start the night. That time just really reaching out and guiding the ball up the middle for a leadoff base hit.
It's amazing how many Japanese left-handed hitters just really, the bat is an extension of their arms and just reaching, just trying to make contact and then pushing it through. Just fortunate enough to get it between the legs of Miller and on into the outfield.
Gene Segura.
He was part of the Greinke trade.
Not much has happened with Zach, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
This was the trade to Anaheim before signing with the Dodgers, and out with broken collarbone.
For folks that didn't see it or don't know what we're talking about, Carlos Quentin and Quentin of San Diego, Zach Greinke, the 4th richest contract for pitchers in baseball history, and now he will miss time because of a brawl that took place late last night on the West Coast. That's a foul ball. It was his non-pitching side that broke in collarbone, but there's talk that he is going to miss maybe 2 months, if not more. Segura, Johnny Helweg, and Ariel Pena in exchange for Zach Greinke, and they say that the one pitcher is throwing about 98 miles an hour as that rolls foul. So they feel that they're going to get 2 major leaguers out of that deal for Zach Greinke with Anaheim. So let's take you back to last night. This is what happened. Good old-fashioned brawl up and into Quentin. Those two had a history before. Tight ball game, 6th inning, and Greinke breaks his collarbone.
It was a 3-2 pitch and a 1-run game, so a lot of people thought it was suspicious that Quentin went out there and thought it was deliberate. But apparently that was the 3rd time Greinke had hit Carlos Quentin, who has a history of being hit the most times. It's over 100, I think 116 in the last few years, and kind of hangs out over the plate.
0-2 pitch by Miller.
99 times out of 100 when you have those bench clearers, it really doesn't resort in anything other than guys just having stories for the next day. But when you talk about a player of the magnitude of Greinke getting injured, it's got people in baseball's attention now as to how to handle those situations, because that's a big investment that the Dodgers and Major League Baseball put into Zach Greinke, and he's going to miss, as Dan said, at least 2 months.
Swing and a miss and a strikeout of Segura for the first strikeout of the night.
Earlier there was a bunt and Cardinals let it roll, and it was a good thing. Plaza Tire Service with our replay there, as it really just fell off once it hit the grass, kicked it right into foul territory, and David Freese, with that knowledge, just let it roll.
Great shot, wasn't it?
Yes.
Here is Ryan Braun with 1 out and a runner at first. Last week, Milwaukee was swept by Arizona. And in that series, Aramis Ramirez out with a knee injury. Corey Hart is now on the 60-day disabled list. Knee surgery. He has missed 3 consecutive spring trainings. And then Ryan Braun missed 3 games because of a neck injury. So that's 98 home runs from a year ago that was out of their lineup. And we haven't even mentioned Matt Gamble.
And he's out for the year, ACL. That's the second year in a row for him. But it was a situation where Ron Renicky had trouble just trying to find healthy bodies to make out a lineup.
Here's a 1-1 pitch on its way. In on the hands of Braun. He's a finalist for the MVP award again last year. Remember, 2 years ago he won it.
And a lot of people think, and good pitch up and in, but they thought his year last season was better than his MVP year 2 years ago. And he finished second to Buster Posey a year ago.
One ball and 2 strikes on Braun.
Brewers dealing with the injuries you've talked about and laid out, Dan. This is the time to take it to him. I mean, you've got to just kind of press it to the ground and just go for it. Aramis Ramirez not in the lineup, and Corey Hart, as you mentioned, both those guys hit so well against the Cardinals, and Braun has good numbers against everybody. But now you've got to take advantage of the heart of their lineup being out and win all these games.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Got him. Strikeout of Braun. Second strikeout for Shelby. One thing that stood out for me, fellas, in watching Miller in that starting in San Francisco, didn't seem to be scared. And boy, was he aggressive, especially with his fastball, and he's establishing that early on. That was not the fastball that he got the strikeout on, but he's been challenging these hitters.
I talked to Derek Lilliquist about it, and I said, what in your mind is his best attribute? And he said, fastball command. You rarely hear that today, that any pitcher, let alone a young pitcher, has fastball command.
Strike to Ricky Weeks. Average at 242. He's been pressed into the cleanup spot in this lineup. 1 home run and 1 RBI. Popped up to the right side and out of play.
And since Ramirez has gone out, his replacements in the lineup in the cleanup spot have been Alex Gonzalez, Ricky Weeks, and Jonathan Lucroy. And they're 1 for 18 with 1 RBI, the solo home run.
And now Weeks in the hole, 0-2. Miller looking to strike out the side. Outfield is deep and straight away.
Weeks is one of those guys you want to be careful with. He will strike out a ton, but he has very, very good power, and he's a guy that can maybe go 0 for 3 and then strike towards the end of the game, so don't take him for granted.
Remember, he had the really bad ankle injury a couple years ago. Thought he was recovered because he had a bad first half, but his second half was much better, so they thought he would be recovered, but didn't have the greatest spring.
$18 pitches, 15 of those have been strikes. Shelby Miller was in the battle with Rosenthal and his good buddy Joe Kelly. Really all 3 of those guys very close, but especially Miller and Kelly. And he won the job out of spring. Joe is in the bullpen, and Rosenthal, on paper, I guess you'd say the 8th inning man, and potentially could be a closer at times. Here's the 0-2 pitch. that Ricky Weeks was the 2nd overall pick back in 2003.
Great collegiate player.
Played at Southern University. Began the season as a junior at Southern University, and he was so good he finished up that year in the major leagues. Runner goes, Yachty to second, safe. Aoki slid right into the tag, but apparently he beat it. Couldn't have been by much, though.
He didn't. It looked like that ball was going to hit him as he's sliding there. When Carpenter comes up with a ball, you just wonder how in the world he could be safe.
Look at where Carpenter's foot is, too, blocking the bag.
Oh, that's how he's safe.
He actually catches the ball behind Aoki on the outfield side, and the ball did not beat him to the base.
Good call. Closer that time. It's his 3rd steal in 3 attempts.
Two outs, runner at second. Here's the 1-2. Crowd still filing in. Big early season crowd. We had the largest crowd in the history of this ballpark on opening day. Miller was walking towards the dugout. That's 2 very close calls. Three-two pitch on its way. Got him. Off-speed pitch. Wiggs strikes out. Miller strikes out the side. Cardinals coming up in the home half of the 1st. This Friday night, Jay, Carpenter, and Holiday, followed by Alan Craig, Beltran, Molina, Freeze, Cosma, and the pitcher Shelby Miller. Defensively for the Brewers, presented by Dobbs, Braun, Gomez, Aoki in the outfield, Gonzalez, Segura, Weeks, and Betancourt on the infield. Jonathan Lucroy is behind the plate. Their old friend Kyle Loesch toeing the rubber tonight for Milwaukee.
Took Kyle a long time to find a suitor. Eventually signed with Milwaukee. I believe it was March 25th. So very little spring training, but just like when he signed with the Cardinals about 5 years ago, he didn't sign until about the mid-March, and we saw that he was in excellent shape, got off to a great start. He's done the same here with Milwaukee.
In his career, whether it be with Cincinnati or primarily, obviously, with St. Louis at this ballpark, Loesch 30-17 with a 3.40 ERA. And Jay lines it out to right. Aoki is there for the first out. Kyle Loesch, and our keys to the game focus on him. It's presented by Toyota. Before St. Louis, he was under 500. With St. Louis, much different pitcher. Better record, better ERA. So I'll ask you, Rick, what's the difference?
Well, it's a number of teams, first of all, before he came to St. Louis, and he really seemed to find a home here. And I think his work with Yadier Molina, I think, helped. His work with Dave Duncan in the early going helped him become a guy who is a pitch maker. And I think he would say early in his career he was just more of a thrower and threw harder. But he is just a guy that stays out of the middle of the zone out and is very good at commanding that strike zone. A lot of strikes from Kyle Loesch.
Carpenter. Braun doesn't see it, so Segura has to make the catch. The shortstop near the line, and Ryan Braun was coming in. You can see him point to the sky, had his hands up in the air as if he could not see it. So the shortstop had to take charge to make that play.
A lot of times when the lights really have not taken effect this time of day, you know, it is trouble on pop-ups. So infielders really do have to be alert to it. And they say that Segura is a rising star. They love him over there.
And they love his defense especially, and actually 3 shortstops on the infield for Milwaukee. Betancourt, the first baseman, is a former shortstop, or really is a shortstop, and so is Alex Gonzalez. And we've seen Gonzalez play an outstanding shortstop. So if Segura beat him out for that, that tells you something.
A couple of Cardinals have very good numbers against Loesch. One of them being Matt Holliday, 5 for 9. And we see the shortstop here, Segura, deep in the hole. It goes right over his head, and that's a base hit. One hop to Braun, and a 2-out base hit for Matt Holliday.
Be interesting to watch guys swing in this cold weather. I asked John Mabry out there in batting practice. You were standing there about, does the ball hurt more when you get jammed or when you hit it off the end of the bat in a night like this? And he said, yes, they both do. It's just an awful feeling. And he said the only way to avoid having to deal with that kind of the bees that you get in your hands is you have to be aggressive. And so if you're just kind of feeling for your swing, that's when kind of you let the elements take over in their control of you.
And that fine line, you can't hold and grip the bat too tight, and you can't do it too loosely. But you got to watch out for that excellent changeup from Loesch.
Craig gets it down the right field line, slicing, foul for strike one.
One thing we came to believe about Kyle Loesch is that when healthy, he's one of the best pitchers in the league.
And remember, he had that odd injury, the forearm injury that he has the tattoo of, to remind him of that injury and trying to come back. That exists on his right forearm, and the injury was similar to those that suffer whatever that strain was and the tear of the sheath of the ligament of motorcycle riders. I mean, it was as odd as it gets, and no one could figure it out. They said it was similar, though, to those. A fly ball out to left. Braun sees this one and puts it away for the out. Cardinals strand a runner against their old mate, Kyle Loesch. jersey giveaway, and then Sunday, Yachty receives the Platinum and Gold Glove Award. That'll be in a pregame ceremony, and fans will take that home as well. The replica presented by Rawlings. Lucroy, Gonzalez, and Gomez against Shelby Miller. Chilly tonight, and we expect temperatures to be beautiful tomorrow and again on Sunday. Now Ricky is something else. I mean, he does the pregame, then he goes over and grabs a turkey sandwich, then he comes in here for the ball game, and then afterwards, I know you're pretty upset about it that you can't be on the post-game set, but Rick will be there, and it's nice and warm on that set, and he'll be ready for the post-game.
I will defend Ricky in this case.
Oh,
he offered me the post-game gig.
I tried. I tried.
He goes, he's already anticipating it's going to be quite cold and windy. And I
for a post game to be named later.
Pulled rank. No.
It's slicing near the line and right, and foul.
And we have a nice crew, as we've mentioned in some other telecasts, for the pre and post game this year. Jim Edmonds has joined us, and Jason Isringhausen. We're going to have Gary Bennett do some shows as well, and I really look forward.
Chris Duncan
will do some as well. Pat Parris and Jim Hayes do outstanding jobs. And always good to hear what the players have to say, what the manager says about the game. Of course, we're going to give our thoughts, but there's something special about hearing those guys right after the competition kind of lay out just what actually happened during that game.
Speaking of Chris Duncan, I heard Dave Duncan on the radio today on the way into the ballpark. He was talking about the brawl last night in the West Coast, and he said something that, you know, it really made me think, and I totally agree with it. He said, they were asking about the unwritten rules of baseball, and they keep on changing. It's really hard to define it, but
fly ball again in right. Beltran makes the catch for out number one.
He said, if you are an integral part of your team, if you're a key player, there is no way you should ever go to the mound, because it's an automatic suspension. You're only going to be hurting your team. Also made a good point, and Ricky and I can attest to this. You do not want a hitter going back to that dugout and start ordering pitchers. Okay, you got to drill their guy to protect me. Certain people will take care of that, others will not. But he was saying that is an integral. That's a very difficult decision, how the manager has to take charge of that and take it out of the hands of the hitters and the pitchers. And we all agree that Tony was one of the best at working at that and taking care of that.
Bob Gibson, and yesterday, statue dedicated to Bob in Omaha, and right on cue, up and in on Gonzalez. They appealed to see if he swung, and we could hear that up here. I'm not sure if it caught his arm or his hand, the wrist area, or if indeed it was the bat. Home plate umpire, though, checked with C.B. Buckner, who's at first base, to see if he swung.
See, he's getting into the mode of swinging, but then ball running in on him, he just really couldn't react. And we showed a picture of Gibby right before the ball hitting the batter. I was just going to say, in Gibby's era, things were taken care of a little differently. Players policed themselves, but now it really has to be the job of a manager to kind of control things.
Saw where some of the writers today were questioning the catchers and their role in brawls, and how you have to take charge and be quick enough to get up and hopefully tackle the hitter.
And you see where Molina is. Molina's standing between the pitcher and the hitter, making sure he's kind of being a mediator. And certainly he understands the hitter's in some pain, and he's got some sympathy going on there, but he also wants to make sure it doesn't get any further.
And that was fair criticism, because Carlos Quentin did step out in front of the batter's box, and he hesitated for a split second. So there's time to watch the catcher and watch the batter. Catcher now immediately come out in front of him, cut him off. That's way too late.
I told the story when we were in Arizona about Mike Matheny when he was with Milwaukee, and that's what got the attention of Phil Garner at the time when he was the manager of the Brewers. He said, who was that young catcher that protected my guy and tackled the hitter? It was supposed to be a brawl, and Matheny tackled the hitter at that time, and that's what got the attention of Phil Garner, and eventually that attention led to a spot on the roster.
And remember what Phil Garner's nickname was. Scrap iron. He was one of those feisty players that was right in the middle of it, dirty uniform. And
I think it's one of the things that's odd about the game of baseball is players have this calm demeanor because they're doing a very minute, specific hand-eye coordination athletic movement, whether it's throwing the ball or hitting the ball, so they're not really kind of amped up all the time, but yet they're competitive. And so it comes out when things like that happen. It's in there. You just don't see it the way they carry themselves. And our strikeout pitcher gets another one.
It's number 4 tonight. He had 3 in the first. Been so much hype around Shelby Miller ever since the Cardinals drafted him out of high school from the state of Texas and waiting for his arrival to the big leagues. This time last year, kind of lost in a way when you think about where he was at AAA, trying to find his way. And the second half, though, a different pitcher. The Cardinals rewarded him with a promotion, had a solid enough spring to make the rotation, and here he is.
I think it's the best thing that happened for him. Is apparently it started in spring training where he lost a lot of weight, lost his core strength, saw guys pass him up, and guys passed him up, and then all of a sudden in the second half he started realizing that, okay, maybe I better do it their way, and had a very good second half. Saw the Kellys come up here, the Rosenthals come up here, and then he got rewarded too because of that second half, and he's a much more mature and dedicated player now.
Yuniesky Betancourt at the plate, no balls and 2 strikes, the 8th place hitter in this lineup.
I was wondering how you were going to say his name. This player at the plate, who you're going to call Yuniesky Betancourt, is that how you said it? Has changed his name about 4 times in the last 3 years.
What is he now?
I actually asked the Brewers broadcaster, and they said, just pick one. He doesn't care anymore.
Beltran.
Beltran. But he's actually, at one time, was Yuniesky Betancourt.
And that's a fair ball. I'll just call him out.
Much easier.
Beltran, Molina and Freeze coming up. take this season by series, the games, the hits, the runs per game. What do you take away from that?
Well, I'm not sure you want some of that trend to continue. The Cardinals have hit more in the third game than they have in the first. It's like almost they've had kind of trouble getting going in a series. Of course, it's a small sample size, but you'd hope they would kind of get them figured out a little quicker. But the Cardinals so far off to a good start, Al. Game over 500.
Cardinals are so good they spot everybody the first game.
That's what it is.
Here's a 1-0 to Beltran. You just saw those numbers that Carlos has against Kyle Loesch, and they certainly get your attention. 22 of 39, the 4 home runs, and 11 walks for Carlos against Kyle.
Hope those continue, but Kyle Loesch is a much better pitcher today.
Another thing you might get from that stat is the fact that you may be facing their ace in game 1 of that series, and as you get lower down in their rotation, you're going to get more opportunities to get hits, and certainly they're facing one of the Brewers' best, although Gallardo is essentially their ace, and he's a tough customer, but seeing Loesch is really top line guy as well.
Get by Gallardo and Loesch, they
broken bat. The string continues for Carlos against Loesch. Base hit. And with that, that's 23 of 40 now for Carlos Beltran against Kyle Loesch.
Loesch and Gallardo are really the established pitchers in their lineup. And Carlos he knows those numbers. And sometimes even if you're a better pitcher, history does repeat itself. I broke your bat, this and that. If the bat stays intact, the ball goes all the way to my center fielder and it's an out. I don't think Kyle worries about those things like he probably did before he got to St. Louis.
The strike on the outside corner to Yadier Molina. And I think a question for a lot of fans watching the game tonight: who has the advantage? Is it Loesch against his former teammates? So is it the pitcher, or do the hitters have the advantage in this spot?
Mike Matheny was asked that question before the game, and really as a former catcher, he's really the best guy to answer that. And he said, really, you don't really stay one way with anybody anyway. So the game plan's going to change from game to game, pitch to pitch. And so you still have to make your pitch. And he kind of was dismissing it as, I don't want to say unimportant, but maybe not the advantage either way. Yeah, there's things you know about the hitter. If you're Kyle Loesch, that pitch up and in on Yadi. And of course, Yadi knows what Loesch is trying to do, but again, there's not just one way to attack a hitter, so you still have to try to figure out what he's doing in that given at bat.
I still believe the advantage is for the pitcher because he knows what he wants to throw. The hitter's trying to guess what he's going to throw or what his approach is going to be. But the bottom line is you can know all the things, and it's just execution. Who makes the pitch at the right time.
Count is even at 2-2. These two know each other quite well. Yadi with a high fly ball out to left. Braun on the move and makes a diving. No! He dropped it. Beltran on his way to third. I'm not sure that Braun needed to dive, but he did. And in doing so, popped out of his glove when he hit the ground. So the Cardinals have runners at second and third and nobody out.
And now you were talking about execution, and here's a pitch that Kyle Loesch does not execute well. He keeps it up in the zone, and here's the end of the play. In the glove, in out of the glove when he hits the ground.
That's exactly the way I saw it, Danny. There was no need to dive on that ball. He might have been losing a little bit in the lights, but you're going sideways there. He was almost catches it head high. Why are you diving other than to be on a highlight reel?
So here is David Freese. 2 runners on, no outs, and that's a base hit in the center. 1 run is in. They'll hold up Molina at third, and the Cardinals take a 1-run lead. A rope off the bat of David Freese for his first RBI of the season.
With Kyle Loesch knowing David Freese, I'm thinking if he gets to 2 strikes, he has the advantage. But he didn't get to 2 strikes, did he?
Right in the middle of the plate.
Right in the middle of the plate.
3 consecutive hits for the Cardinals here in the home half of the second, and it brings in Pete Kozma.
If there's anything that was a bit of a problem for Kyle Loesch from time to time is when things would unravel for him. And he's such an emotional guy. Again, he doesn't show it on the outside, but he is, and he's a competitor. We would see small strike zones at times bother him, and when things just kind of unravel around him like bad defense. And again, there are times where you can overcome that, and there are times where it just seems to snowball, and we did see that happen a few times with Loesch in his tenure as a Cardinal.
It's kind of hard, Ricky, because some of those things you're talking about are really real, but I think it also happened when he was hurt, and we didn't know it.
Agreed.
And give him credit for not saying a word about it either.
Right.
Trying to pitch through the pain, knowing that he had numbness in his hand. He told me he couldn't feel the baseball, the grip of it, the seams. In trouble right here. Runners at the corners, nobody down. 1-2 the count.
And when you say you didn't say anything about it, I think we should clarify that, often when a player has an issue, whatever it is, whether it's a hamstring or whatever, the trainers know about it. It's not as if it's a secret that nobody in the clubhouse knows about. He's just not using it as an excuse publicly, and that is to his credit.
On 1-2, Kozma hits it out of play.
Sometimes the new rules, I think, hurt us as broadcasters, hurts the players, hurts the credibility of the ball club, because it used to be that we were told a lot more information. Now with new HIPAA laws, the medical staff or training staff are not allowed to say certain things.
Ooh, on the outside corner, Kozma didn't like it. That part of the plate has been inconsistent tonight on both sides.
Sure has.
Right. And as a pitcher, you kind of learn that, and you learn how to exploit it. But it used to be, as we watch a strikeout pitch a little bit outside, it used to be trainers, manager would give broadcasters information and say, look, this guy is hurt, so be careful, cut him some slack, but we really don't want to broadcast it to the other team because we don't want to have a give them
competitive advantage.
Yeah, and I mean, I knew at one time I was standing on the mound. I couldn't pitch because of my back, and I was standing on the mound supposed to fake out the other team that was going to be coming in. But those are things that Red Chaney's or Gene Giesman would relay to Jack Buck, Mike Shannon, and and you just kept things quiet. You knew certain things, and you were told not to say anything. But with new HIPAA laws, they can't do that.
2 balls and no strikes on Shelby Miller. Boy, it must have been odd for Kyle Loesch and tough to handle going through an entire offseason, then into spring training, trying to figure out why. When you're a guy that's a finalist for the Cy Young Award, one of the top 7 finishers, and here's a double play ball, and yet you aren't signed. 6-4-3 on the double play, and the Cardinals only get 1 run. Could have been much worse. They're on top after 2. shivering and cuddling, trying to stay warm. And poor Jim Hayes is out in the cold. Where are you, Jim?
I'm in the outfield here. I'm actually behind home plate, but way up high, not cuddling. Dan, you guys were talking about Carlos Beltran's career numbers against Kyle Loesch. Huge. 40 at-bats, 4 home runs, now a .575 batting average. And the humble guy that he is, Beltran said most of those numbers were accumulated when Loesch was early in his career with Minnesota. Said he was a power pitcher back then, would fall behind in the count, and you could take advantage of him. He says Loesch has evolved. I said, did you ever bring up the numbers when you were teammates with Loesch? He said, quote, I wouldn't do that. I'm not that kind of person.
Nice reception for Kyle Loesch, and he hits it out of play. He was also greeted to a very nice ovation when his name was announced in the Brewers lineup right before the ceremony for Stan the Man. And I noticed too that Yadier Molina stepped out in front of the plate, acted like he was picking up something, playing with the dirt to make sure that he was recognized before this big crowd.
And Cardinal fans do not miss moments here at the ballpark. They understand the significance of things that happen on the field here, and Kyle Loesch returning and having a lot of his heart here in St. Louis. That was really a nice thing.
For moments like that, send a message to every visiting player, and that is, I would love to play in St. Louis.
Randy Johnson still talks about it in his quest of getting to 300 wins. Picked up a win that final season against St. Louis as Cosma makes the play and Loesch grounds out. MLB.TV celebrating 11 years. Join the millions of fans and subscribe today. Watch every out-of-market game live online or your favorite mobile devices in HD quality. MLB.TV. Baseball is everywhere. Al and Rick are cuddling and trying to stay warm, and I'm just working on my score sheet here and digging up info. Al is not too pleased.
No, he is staring you down, isn't he?
Al, I apologize.
You're going to get cuddled all right.
Here's Aoki back to the top of the lineup for Milwaukee.
You know, as cold as it is, I think a lot of folks want to know who has the advantage just in general. Is it the pitcher or the catcher? And you say that in guys that were former teammates, but also when weather conditions. And in my mind, it's whoever's strongest mentally. And if it's raining, who has the advantage? If it's cold, if it's hot, if it's getaway day, if it's the 10th game in a row, whatever it is, any of those things are options or opportunities for you to be able to show your mental strength and be ahead of the other guy.
Pitcher's always moving. You know, once he gets loose, he stays relatively warm. And he knows that most hitters do not want to hit in cold weather, especially do not like to be pitched inside.
Just missed. Aoki, first time up with a single, stole a base and left stranded back in the first.
Fairly deep in the outfield, respecting the newfound power of Aoki.
Already the pitch count at 53 for Shelby Miller. Number 6, the grass in center field. It wouldn't surprise me, and we have no inside knowledge about this, but it wouldn't surprise me if the Cardinals kept that all season long on the grass. Remember, that's how the arch was put into the grass. Fans loved it, and they kept it.
Look at that.
Aoki grounds out to short.
I was going to say, by those fielding percentages there, he would pull the ball on the ground and fly balls would go to the opposite field. So he hits one to shortstop.
Gene Segura struck out swinging first time up. He's playing hurt right now. He's dealing with a bruised left thigh, and also his right ankle is banged up. He was taken out hard in a double play ball by Gerardo Parra of Arizona, but they need him to play.
And he's gotten off to a really good start, and there was a lot of question. They kind of wondered about would he hit enough to be able to stay in that lineup, to the point that Betancourt was with Philadelphia and tore up spring training, hit over 400, and asked for his release so he could re-sign with Milwaukee and come back here and be a utility player. But because of all their injuries, he's playing every day. Now he's playing first base. They actually have three shortstops in the infield.
Pitch count high for Miller. We showed you that at 59, but not really any fault of his own. They fouled off a number of pitches. Ricky Weeks did in the first inning, and that's really where the pitch count got up. And another.
Mention now the Brewers and their bullpen. Their team should be rested with 2 days off, and Cardinals essentially their bullpen the same thing after the outing of Jake Westbrook. Went the distance. The fly ball lifted into right, and that's out of play. Jake was sensational in the day game the other day.
Ton of ground balls, just as he did in his first outing. Over 90% ground balls in 2 starts. And you know, Westbrook not the same kind of pitcher as Shelby Miller. He's going to try to get the strikeout, and the Brewers are kind of fouling off some of his tough pitches right now. Again, that's why the pitch count up for him, where Westbrook might have a 4, 5, 6, 7 pitch inning and get 3 ground balls.
There's a ground ball that's hit to second. Segura leaves Braun on deck. The Cardinals have the top of the lineup coming up. Jay, Carpenter, and Holiday. They lead it 1-0. What do you most admire about Stan the Man? His hits, the All-Star games, 24 times he was selected, never ejected from a game, amazingly. 3 MVPs. The list goes on and on and on. As John Jay will lead it off, top of the order. So consistent, both home and road. 475 career home runs.
Expecting a very close result on our Twitter poll here tonight. All those things worthy of a vote.
Here's a 2-0 pitch to Jay. Lined out to right. Back of the first, and he's 0 for 1. 2 balls and 1 strike. It's Kyle Loesch right there, isn't it? A 2-1 changeup.
Well, you don't really have a changeup unless you're willing to throw it when you're behind in the count. Anybody can say they have a pitch, but having it is being able to throw it in multiple different situations.
And Jay hit by the pitch. Did he swing? Yes, he did, as they appeal down to third. Jose Oquendo having words with the third base umpire. It's the crew chief, Dale Scott.
See that side replay, it always looks like someone goes through, but I wouldn't have called that a swing.
No, you're allowed to go through. If they believe you're just trying to get out of the way, you're allowed to have the barrel of the bat come through the zone if, in the umpire's opinion, they believe you did that to avoid getting hit. Again, one of those gray areas.
By the way, Blake Lally is now at first base, and Betcourt is moved over to third.
Gonzalez got hit by that pitch in the second inning.
Here's a ground ball, a couple of hops to second. 2 outs.
That's all they need is another injury. They actually started the season with 13 pitchers because they had an extra pitcher in case Loesch needed a little help. But his first start, he went 6 innings, and they said he could have gotten at least 1 more. And so then they've gone down to 12 pitchers, and they're carrying 3 catchers. And the young man that's at first base is kind of a first baseman catcher type player.
Matt Holliday, strike 1.
Give Loesch some credit for that too, guys. When the Cardinals first signed Kyle Loesch, he had not been pitching. He was looking for a job then.
Yep.
The Cardinals signed him late in spring training, and he came ready. I mean, game ready to go 7+ innings without really going through a spring of training with a team. And to his credit, he's figured out a way to get himself ready when somebody calls, and I think that experience is helpful to him this year with the Brewers.
Most definitely. And what he did was going to a junior college and throwing an awful lot.
Fly ball into right. Aoki foul territory with plenty of room to make the catch. Cardinals go in order. We have played 3 here at Busch Stadium. Redbirds on top by a run. Cardinals baseball is brought to you by Schnucks, and Schnucks is going to bat for Stan the Man's favorite charity, Covenant House, Missouri, which serves homeless and runaway youths ages 16 to 21. So help us celebrate number 6 and donate to Covenant House at any St. Louis area Schnucks. One of the many charities that Stan the Man was a part of. Passed away at the age of 92. As Ryan Braun takes a strike, and it's 0-2. Braun off to a good start. And not tonight, though. 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts.
A couple of off-balance swings, too, Al. It looks as if he's really not seeing the off-speed pitch well. Hitters will talk about seeing the ball, and that's a swing right there where it didn't look like he picked up the spin very well or early enough.
Not at all. We know he's such an accomplished hitter that rarely do you see him get himself out like that. And sometimes the strike zone can get in the head of hitters and they expand their zone when, so far that they can't even hit it.
High chopper to Freeze. Winks is on number 2.
Miller could use a few more of those one-pitch outs as he's trying to go as deep into this game as he can. 66 pitches now, working in the 4th. That ratio not quite so bad as we saw in the first 2 innings.
Jonathan Lucroy, as Milwaukee is looking for their second base hit. Aoki started the game with a base hit, and since that time, it's been all Shelby Miller. He struck out 5. He's hit a man, no walks.
Lucroy, one of the very good all-around catchers, off to a slow start. Last year, he missed 50 games with a fracture of the hymate bone in his hand and wrist. You see Shelby, they're kind of guessing. They're guessing one pitch behind. He's looking breaking ball, threw the fastball by him. Ron was looking fastball. He got the curveball.
Guessing the catcher may have something to do with that. Of 14 first pitch strikes for Miller. Appears to be in command of his stuff. He throws a good fastball that we've mentioned. Also has a curveball and a changeup that he's used sparingly so far tonight, but he's used it successfully.
Good fastball command. Probably his second best pitch is the curveball. Even experimenting a little bit with a cutter.
2-2.
Love his pace, don't you? Looks like he's on the mound, total control, just waiting for the hitters to get in there and then pound the strike zone.
Never really understood what walking around the mound really does for you anyway.
Me too.
I don't get it. Some pitchers do that.
Yeah, I'd never go behind the mound.
Some like to make themselves the show.
To me, it takes away. You insinuating something there, Dan?
I'm glad you're in the middle.
I think it takes away your visual as a pitcher. If you can imagine throwing darts at a dartboard, why would you throw a dart and then not use your last throw and throw off of that one to be more pinpoint on your next throw? Why would you walk around the room and come back and do it again? Never understood that.
The 2-2 pitch. Jammed him, popped up. Out of play.
Ricky, I would hope there was a lot of things you didn't quite understand that I did.
Oh, I can promise you that's true. You're starting to rub off on me now, though.
Here's a 2-2 pitch to Lucroy. Little tapper. And Miller is off the mound, steps and throws and makes the play. Cardinals have the heart of their lineup coming up. It's Craig, Beltran, and Molina. 1-0 St. Louis. official Bud Light draft party at Dave & Buster's on Thursday, April 25th. Have a chance to hang out with the Rams players and personnel. The cheerleaders will be there. Rampage will also be there. For details on the free event, head to stlouisrams.com/draft day.
Baseball season now, but isn't it good to see the excitement that Jeff Fisher and the Rams have generated, and everybody looking forward to this coming year.
And still excited about the Blues.
Oh, most definitely.
How about Brian Elliott, what he's been able to do?
Bad night tonight for the Blues, but played very well of late in the playoffs. As always, will be fun to follow.
1 ball, 1 strike on Alan Craig. Cardinals really had a great opportunity against Loesch back in the second, and as we've seen when Kyle was pitching for the Cardinals, you get that chance at him, you better take advantage of it, because once he settles in, he's tough.
You are so right about that, Dan. The Cardinals managing just 1 run after 3 straight hits to start that inning, and Kyle Loesch has learned how to get out of jams. He did there. The strikeout of Cosma, the big out, then a double play Shelby Miller bounced into, and again, you may not have many chances against Loesch.
Segura to his left, 1 away. Nice play. And Craig is 0 for 2. Were you guys surprised at all not to see Matt Adams in the starting lineup?
Not really. I will say that was I did look to see who was going to be on the lineup card, but he's going to get his shots. But you know, this is your core group. Now, I think what you're going to find is David Freese, you know, for a while, he's probably going to play every other day. And then it'll be 2 days in a row and 3rd day off.
Beltran on a breaking ball lifts it out to right. Aoki running in and makes the catch for out number 2.
You're going to have times when you want Beltran to give him a little rest, holiday. And so I think that he's going to get, you know, maybe 2 to 3 starts a week.
For second-year manager Mike Matheny, that may be his toughest job in the next month or so, figuring out how to get at-bats for Matt Adams. He was having a hard time figuring that out before David Freese came off the disabled list, because of Descalzo off to a good start, and you want Carpenter in the lineup, and we're not even talking about Taveras yet, but there's going to be a time where we're going to have to figure out how to get at bats for him, I would guess. But Matt Adams off to such a good start, 2 for 3 in his last game, and his average only went up a couple of points. Over 600 in the early going.
One ball and 2 strikes on Yadier Molina. Molina with the double. Ball that was in and out of the glove of Ryan Braun. Trying to make a diving catch shot in left center. And really, that's the play of the game thus far tonight.
You know, the other day when Yadi drove in all 4 runs, and remember they had a couple controversial calls, or had a couple errors out in center field. Apparently the first one was reviewed and denied.
Ooh, that hit hard at third on a hop, and Molina will be tagged out, and the inning is through. So Loesch starting to settle in. So is Shelby Miller. He's back to work when we come back. McDonald's.com/McWrap to get $6 tickets. McDonald's and the Cardinals. Fresh is in season. Good ball game tonight. The return of Kyle Loesch, night in which we celebrate the life of Stan the Man. Just one hit allowed. The first man that he saw, he has struck out 5. He struck out the side in the first. Welcome those that were watching St. Louis Blues hockey as the Blues lose 4-1. Blues had a shutout time streak of 2:15:56. That's unheard of. Brian Elliott was fantastic in goal, and we are your home of the Blues and the Cardinals. Blake Lally.
We certainly are celebrating Stan Musial here tonight at Busch Stadium. I had a fan share with me that when Springfield had their home opener, they also, the Cardinal minor league affiliate, had a number 6 put up on their wall there to commemorate Stan.
It's one of the new things you'll notice if you come to the ballpark here at Busch Stadium. The photos are still up on the left field wall, but the numbers have dropped and really stand out on that left field wall as you get a look at the Hyundai replay as Cosma circled that baseball and made the play at short. Some new images for those Hall of Famers and the greats in Cardinals history here at Busch Stadium.
I hope they leave the 6 patch up forever.
I agree. I think it looks better, Dan. Stands out more.
There's the patch that is worn on the sleeves, the uniforms this year. Many of the pins that Cardinals personnel are wearing as well. 0-2 on Carlos Gomez. Fouled back. One thing about Shelby Miller that we've seen, he doesn't mess around. He gets ahead, like in this case 0-2 on Gomez, and Rick, he just goes right after you.
Yeah, what you don't want a young pitcher to do is start playing around, just going out of the strike zone too often to try to get a big league hitter to chase. Now they're going to do that in A ball, they're going to do that in Double A, but big league guys are, for the most part, more selective. So just go after him. Don't wait. Press the advantage. Don't give it back.
Most pitchers are under a pitch count, and especially in the minor leagues. Well, if they're throwing 100 pitches in the minor leagues, and they're probably going to be 5, 6 innings at most, they're going to be at least an inning less here. So you better learn to go out there and challenge hitters. One of the things I like about Shelby is I always make a correlation of how many home runs you allowed and how many hit batters. And I think sometimes it tells a little story, but we talked about the strikeouts, that he set a franchise record for strikeouts, but I think he also led the league in hitting 11 batters. It's okay to have a mean streak, Mr. Nice Guy, Rick Horton.
You know me better than that, Al.
And you had one in your own right.
I sure did. I just smile when I did it.
Yeah, you just.
Cheshire Cat over here.
They believed I was doing it on purpose. You got away with it.
Al, you were doing it on purpose.
I was. But I wanted to put fear in a hitter's mind. You know, pitchers could intimidate hitters. Today, hitters intimidate pitchers because the umpires take the inside pitch away.
9th pitch of the at-bat is hit down the right field line and out of play. We've also seen tonight a lot of late swings.
Yeah.
On the pitches from Shelby Miller.
Yeah, I think what Al was saying earlier about it, I think that's an indication of them guessing wrong. They're looking for an off-speed pitch, and then they're just reacting to the fastball, just trying to foul it off. They're just not seeing it right. And of course, we saw Ryan Brown just wave at a couple of off-speed pitches that he didn't really pick up the spin on it. And again, this is not the A lineup for Milwaukee.
The 2-2.
Good pitch there.
So 10 pitches now in this at bat.
Didn't get the call, but I think a lot of it comes with Molina and his ability to call pitches.
Strikeout, and Gomez having words with the home plate umpire. Strikeout number 6.
Gomez is furious about this pitch, and it may or may not have been a strike, but it was close enough that he shouldn't be that furious.
Exactly. Fastball away, 3-2, and it's too close, obviously, when the umpire calls it a strike.
I don't know where he thought it was. It wasn't outside. Might have been low, but it was certainly close.
On a hop to short, Cosmo. Shelby Miller, sharp. He is through 5. The Cardinals have a 1-run lead. Against his former teammate Kyle Loesch, and with more on Loesch, let's check in with Jim Hayes. Jim, you said that Kyle appeared on the pregame show, what, 183 times?
Yeah, and it wasn't enough. He was always good. You guys were talking about why it may have taken so long for someone to sign Kyle Loesch. Loesch believes it's the compensation rule. He says teams were leery of giving up a draft pick and the pool money that's slotted with it, and he says that there were other team executives who said that maybe his agent, Scott Boras, was a little heavy-handed in terms of what they were asking for early on. Either way, Loesch is glad to have a home.
Brings up an interesting point as to why it did take so long. The Cardinals get the Brewers pick. They also get that slot money as well. So it's kind of a double whammy, and you really have to like that player. They felt they needed Kyle Loesch as Aoki puts that away on the track. Want a great deal on Cardinals tickets? Fill up at Phillips 66 with 8 gallons or more. Now until June 30th, receive up to 50% off on a pair of tickets to a Cardinals home game. For more information, visit cardinals.com/Phillips66.
And so the Cardinals will get pick number 17 as compensation for Kyle Loesch, because they offered him the qualifying offer. Remember, the Cardinals offered $13.3 million to Loesch. He turned that down, and then that kicks in for the compensation. If Cleveland signed a couple free agents, well, they didn't count because it only talks about the if you're in the bottom 10 teams, you're exempt from giving up compensation. So the Brewers, with a better record, they lose their number 17th, their first round pick, and they lose that slot money, and that's what is really big. Organizations feel you have to build within, so they feel that draft slot money, and that's a new thing that started last year.
And I think the draft picks are becoming more of an issue now at the major league level, because you can project some college players as being maybe a year or two away, and that's kind of a new thing too. There's a time with draft choices you really didn't know. I mean, it wasn't that obvious of a value, but I think now the way scouting has expanded their influence, and the Cardinals have done a nice job of picking players over the last few years, that's for sure. That pick becomes very valuable for John Mozeliak.
When I was signed,
out to left and a base hit off the bat of Pete Cosmo. Cardinals pick up their first hit since back in the second.
When I was signed, major league clubs really did not have great confidence in college players. They felt like the college baseball programs were not that good. It was beneficial for a young man to sign and learn to play from the professionals, but that has really changed. College baseball programs are so sound now, and just think of the attrition. A lot of guys you find out about injuries weed themselves out early.
There's a bunt, and Miller just good enough, and a race to the bag at third. What a heads-up play by Cosma. He winds up at third base. Nobody was there. A race to the bag, and we know Pete can run.
How about that for a sac bunt? Sends the guy not just to second, but it gets him over to third.
A good jump right at the beginning, and now he knows he's just got to be faster or as fast as Segura. There's no way they're going to make that throw with Segura on the run. Heads up, base running, Cosmo with some plus speed.
And that was all Cosmo. You don't have time to look at the third base coach.
Exactly.
You have to make that decision yourself. So smart running.
By the way, their starter at third, Al, very quickly was Gonzalez. Remember, he's out of the game. They had x-rays that were negative on his left hand. Go ahead, Al. I thought you were going to say something, Al.
I just said it.
Okay.
Other than the point that maybe that was proving with the intelligent base running there that the Cardinal organization does know how to teach, which we know they do very well.
Here's John Jay, ground ball to the right side, handled there by Ricky Weeks. Cardinals strand a runner. They have stranded 3 this evening. Heads up play by Cosma, but left at third. Charter high-speed pitch. And there's a fastball. A strike from Shelby. Loesch at 91. How about Shelby? 96 on the gun.
I was thinking 94, 95.
Yeah, me too. Not 96, though.
He threw 4 no-hitters in high school. 3 of them consecutive in the playoffs, including 1 perfect game.
7th strikeout. Loesch 0 for 2.
We've seen some high strikeout games in the early going from Cardinal pitchers. We saw Jaime Garcia and Lance Lynn strike out 10 back-to-back. And Miller on his way towards that same number. He already has 7.
That's 12 in a row that he has set down. The Brewers have had 2 base runners tonight. Leadoff man Aoki left stranded at second, and then hit batsman. That was Gonzalez, who had to leave the game.
His pitch count at 93 right now. Activity in the Cardinal bullpen was Salas.
Some of the fans now getting their harmonicas ready. We understand that Take Me Out to the Ball Game will be in the 6th inning to honor number 6 tonight.
Looking forward to that.
And I think they're trying to send a Guinness World Record for the most participating in Take Me Out to Ball Game harmonica version.
John Jay is there, had him shaded opposite way. And there's 2 away. On paper, he is the ace of the staff, Giovanni Gallardo. It's our Budweiser What's on Tap. We'll come your way at 2:30 with the pregame show.
Cardinals have hit him well a number of times, Dan, but I wouldn't take him for granted either. 1-4 with a 5.7 against the Cardinals. Looking forward to watching Gallardo pitch.
He is an ace, and I'll say with Loesch there, co-ace. And as you're right, Ricky, because that one game that he did defeat the Cardinals was a one-hitter.
Right.
That's more indicative of the type of pitcher he can be. So, yeah, the Cardinals have had success, but it could flip around real quickly.
Gene Segura, 0-2. By the way, we've talked so much about the injuries for Milwaukee, but they have not pitched. The rotation with an ERA collectively over 5. Gallardo has made 2 starts and has given up 7 earned runs and 19 hits in those 2 games. The bullpen, well, it's been worse because their ERA is over 6. Opponents hitting .311 against their bullpen. Another strikeout for Shelby. We'll stay right here. What should be a very special moment here at Busch Stadium.
Stan the Man Musial.
Ladies and gentlemen, in what normally is tradition for the 7th inning, tonight, for the greatest player to ever wear number 6, we pay homage to Stan Musial this half inning with the playing of Take Me Out to the Ball Game. At this time, we ask you to take out your harmonicas. We will be led by the one and only Hall of Fame harmonica player in what must certainly be a world record for the number of people attempting to play the harmonica at one time.
What do you want to play, Stan?
Stan, take it away.
We're going to play Take Me Out to the Ball Game. We're all going to sing it, too.
The Cardinals lead by 1 run over Kyle Loesch and the Milwaukee Brewers. 1-0 lead here in the home half of the 6th. Very neat moment. And as Al said, glad that there were a lot of folks singing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game." Is rather tough to learn on the fly, huh?
Well, I like the generations of Cardinal fans that were represented in our shots. You saw young kids, and you saw folks that have been Cardinal fans for 60 years, and just really, this game can really transcend generations, and certainly Stan has. And very, very nice tribute.
Shelby Miller, by the way, has retired the last 14 in a row, 5 by strikeout, as Carpenter lines it off the glove of Segura. Thrown to first, and he still got him. Hit it hard enough where he had time to recover. And by the way, Miller has set a new personal Major League best of 8 strikeouts.
Oh, yeah. I think we've got a chance to almost reset that best almost every other start or every start for a while. But there's a hard line drive and a little tough luck for Carpenter. We haven't really mentioned it, but playing with a unique baseball tonight, as it is a special commemorative baseball for Stan Musial.
As Holiday skies one into right field. Cardinals baseball is brought to you by Steel. And Steel, available exclusively at a servicing Steel dealer near you. Visit steeldealers.com. And the Cardinals, Fox Sports, and the state of Missouri are teaming up to help you stop smoking. For more information, call the Quit line at 1-800-QUIT-NOW. Yeah, very unique ball that was approved by Major League Baseball, the Commissioner's Office, the Cardinals, and the Brewers. Normally, we understand they rub up about 12 dozen for any Major League game, and tonight there was a 24 ordered. The Cardinals and Stan the Man Inc. will put that ball on sale. Cardinals team store, and also the game used balls. They're authenticated, and you can find those at Cardinals Authentics. There it is right there. There's that logo.
Very, very beautiful logo and not obtrusive. It's actually smaller than what the official Major League Baseball logo. So shouldn't be any complaints from the pitchers, and I can't see how a hitter could complain.
Kyle Loesch lands funny on this delivery. We'll take another look at it. There's his plant, and he slips, and very unsettling for a pitcher when your feet give way. Your foundation's so important, especially that landing leg. And Loesch fell off to the side. Fortunately, no injury issues.
Turn an ankle.
You bet.
I would say Shelby Miller's slightly taller than Loesch, and it looked like maybe Loesch striding out got into Shelby's little indentation and slipped through it in the landing area.
Well, Craig is in the hole. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Hitless tonight. Breaks his bat. Slowly hit to third. Kyle Loesch, Shelby Miller, pitchers duel here at Busch Stadium. The return of Loesch, he is not disappointed. St. Louis, though, on top by a run. their alternate jersey and uniform, and you can take one home. The adult replica alternate jersey presented by Lumiere Place Casino and Hotels. That'll be tomorrow, and 3:15 is the start time here at the ballpark, and 2:30 will be on the air on Fox Sports Midwest. Al, Rick, Dan with you, Jim Hayes as well as Shelby Miller tossing a one-hitter, and it's a one-run lead. Big inning here, though, for Shelby. His pitch count at 99, and he gets the heart of the lineup, starting with Braun. And the first pitch is hit high in the air down the right field line out of play. He has gone right after Ryan Braun tonight.
Yeah, and Braun doesn't look comfortable at all, and as if he's having a hard time picking the ball up out of his hand. And Ryan Braun, of course, we know when he's right, he's as good as they come. And he's actually off to a good start this season, too. You mentioned he missed the Arizona series. The Brewers just 1-5 in their first homestand.
There it is again, the fastball at 93. It's almost as if Braun isn't picking it up.
Right there, he had a better swing at that one. I think he saw that one, so kind of an indication you better change speeds. You got Braun to swing wildly at a breaking ball. They have Mojica warming up. It is the 7th inning. Behind Miller and watching closely. Fastball away.
And a ground ball to the right side. Big out for Shelby. Braun retired, hitless tonight. The Blues at Fox Sports Midwest once again teaming up for the Coleman St. Louis Race for the Cure. Saturday, June 15th. All team members are invited to enjoy special pre-race activities. That includes a meet and greet with Louie, face painting, music, and much more. For more information, join the Blues and Fox Sports Midwest. Go to stlouisblues.com. Ricky Weeks talked about the tough decisions that Mike Matheny has to make with his lineup with guys that are swinging the bat well. And right now he's getting into that territory where it becomes if you pull Shelby Miller. His pitch count is at 104. We are only in the 7th. Shelby has struck out 8. He has set 15 straight down.
You've got to get to 6 innings. He's done that. Anything above 6 is a bonus for a young pitcher like this. And I think we both are pleasantly surprised. You could have seen Mike Matheny pull him after 6 and make sure it's just a real positive outing for him. Right, let him go in a little bit more. I think one base runner and he's out of this game.
Slipping Cosma, still got him. Boy, how good does Shelby Miller look here tonight?
Looks like everything we read about him. Fans billing.
Nice recovery by Pete Cosma on the backhand. Then there's a slide and the strong throw, and you've got to have a strong throw to get Ricky Weeks.
It is now 16
look at
in a row.
That percentage, though.
16 in a row.
Almost 80% strikes, 20% balls.
Low 70s is very good. 80% outstanding.
0-1 pitch to Jonathan Lucroy, taken for a ball outside. I know, Al, pitch counts drive you crazy. And I'm sure, Rick, back even in your era, it's something that wasn't looked at as closely as it is now. I mean, Shelby Miller is about as locked in as anybody we've seen this year. At what point do you say, why not extend him to 110, 115, 120?
Well, the reason you don't do it now is because he's not accustomed to it. He's been babied. They baby him so much in the minor leagues that all of a sudden you can't start treating him like a man. Got to let him build up to it.
I think early in the season, even back in the day, you wouldn't go 120 pitches your first time out. In fact, it would not be unusual for a pitcher 20, 30 years ago to just go 7 innings anyway in his first start.
Oh, we talked about it with Santana's no-hitter. There's a veteran pitcher, but coming off of surgeries. And They allowed him to throw a no-hitter, but he created a career high and never was the same last season, and now he's out for the year with another surgery.
Maybe out forever.
Yep, at his age.
The 2-2 to Jonathan Lucroy. Taken high.
Speaking of out, we just learned that Carlos Quentin got an 8-game suspension for his part in charging the mound on Zach Greinke, and he's appealing that. But Greinke, as we mentioned earlier in the telecast, out for probably 8 weeks or more for the Dodgers. A fly ball lifted into right. This should do it.
Great job.
Shelby through 17 in a row for Shelby Miller. Allowed 1 hit. That was a leadoff man. Results of our AT&T Twitter poll. What do you most admire about Stan the Man? And 38% of the fact that he was never ejected. Interesting.
We thought it'd be close.
You know, there was a poll here on the board, and I can't remember all the choices, but one was kind of the same thing. Do they admire that he was an accomplished musician? One was something to the effect of you know, his great baseball career, and the other was that he never turned down an autograph. And at 45%, I never turned down an autograph was the winner.
Dan, I'm wondering whether you're going to ask Al or if you're going to wait and have me ask him whether Al was ever rejected.
There's a shot into left center field.
I got the answer.
For those that forgot just how special he was between the white lines, consistent home and road split, equal hits, over 3,600 total, 475 home runs, 1,900 RBIs, and second all-time in total bases. The great Stan the Man.
Okay, brave ones. Who's going to ask me?
Dan?
Al, how many times were you ejected?
In the National League, I was never ejected, but fined a lot. Fined for fighting, fined for throwing at people, fined for this, fined for that. In the American League, I was never fined, but ejected twice.
We appreciate your honesty.
This is hammered. Left center field. It's at the track at the wall. Goodbye. Molina makes it a 2-run St. Louis lead. Second home run of the year. gets his old battery mate. 2-run lead for St. Louis.
The receiving line is back, Al.
Oh, I love it. I think that's a nice little touch. Guys have fun with it, and this is a fun game. Miller is out. You had Salas warming up in the 6th inning. You had Mojica in the 7th, and now because it's the 8th, it's Rosenthal's inning. But Shelby Miller is the star of this game. He's got some supporting role in cast, but what an outstanding job.
And fitting where that home run went by Yadier Molina.
Right over Stan Musial's side.
Chopper to third. Freeze retired. David got it started for the Cardinals with an RBI single back in the 2nd. We go back to the home run for Yadi.
Elevated fastball. Yadi knows he's hit it well. And so does Shelby Miller.
Right over the Musial patch. Isn't that fitting?
Here is Pete Kozma. Hits it out of play. 2 outs, nobody on. Well, Mojica was up and throwing. He has sat down. Now Rosenthal, as the way the roles are starting to become defined, he is your 8th inning man, and he's getting loose as we speak. Activity now for the Brewers in their pen. Nissan drive of the game as we take a look again at the home run by Molina.
Loesch knew it right away. Fastball up and in, got away. Again, a guy that lives on location misses his spot.
Wasn't quite high enough to be effective. You know, where high in the strike zone is a hitter's friend, high above the strikeout is a pitcher's friend. And just kind of got it in that danger zone.
Shelby Miller, 17 straight to finish up his night. No walks, the 8 strikeouts. Good cut there by Kozma.
Kozma may get a pitch similar to Molina's, and that is a pitch that he has. Kozma puts a good swing on it and drive it out of here.
Really no reason to think that Loesch wouldn't have a chance to finish this game up. Pitch count only at 81. As poor as their bullpen has been, I'm sure Ron Renneke is saying let's keep him in too. It's sharply to short, deep in the hole, and they just get Kozma hustling down the line. Yadier Molina and Shelby Miller, those two on the same page all night long. Offensively, Molina with his 2nd home run. After 7, Birds on top. of the Cardinals. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Al Rabotsky, the Mad Hungarian. Rick Horton, the other side of the spectrum. And I'm Dan McLaughlin. All right. Here is Trevor Rosenthal.
Yeah, where are you on that spectrum?
Our Chevy call to the pen. I'd rather not answer that. Descalso is into the game.
I thought you were ignoring me.
He's playing second, and Carpenter moves to third.
Jim Hayes is also with us. Not sure where Jim would fit in there as well either. 0-1 pitch.
Better keep that one quiet too.
Final line on Shelby: 7 innings, 1 hit, no runs, no walks, 8 strikeouts, 113 pitches. Retires the last 17 that he saw, and there's a look at the numbers this season for Trevor.
So you have a starting pitcher throwing 95, 96 miles an hour, and you've got a reliever coming in throwing harder. 97 on that fastball up and away from Rosenthal. Has such an electric arm and really a bright future ahead for both our starter here tonight, Shelby Miller, and Trevor Rosenthal.
Got him to reach. Fly ball, left field. Holiday, 1 away.
Say once again, been around the Cardinal organization for 6 decades, and I have never seen so many power arms. The arms that they possess right now at the major league level and the minor leagues.
Now, you feel this is legitimate. I mean, we've heard about guys in the past, but you've had a chance to see them now. And you think about Carlos Martinez, Michael Walker down in the minor leagues. You got Rosenthal here. We just saw Shelby Miller. Very impressive. That's a 97.
Well, you see the swing and misses too. You know, velocity guys can still time and they can do different things, but you know, like a Michael Clado this year looked like he turned the corner in spring training because he threw hard, but everybody turned it around on him. But now he's come up with a breaking ball to go with his fastball, and now he looks like he's a different pitcher. So
popped up, shallow right. 2 away.
And remember, this is Rosenthal, who we all know has such a high ceiling and can do anything in this game. Whether from a pitching standpoint, he could start, he could be a closer, he could be a setup man. You know, he can be the long man. He can do anything. But yet, right now in his 8th inning role, he's 0 for 2. He's come in trying to protect 2 leads, and he's let them slip away. So this is a very important outing for him, just for his confidence factor too.
Betancourt, fly ball into right, and Beltran out of room.
If anything, you see watching Rosenthal pitch that maybe is something for him to kind of work on going forward. Is there times where he's a little too quick in his delivery? He throws very hard. And he starts pretty quick in his delivery. He's not kind of a slow guy. He's kind of a little jerky at the beginning, but we've seen him out at times get a little too fast, and I think that affects his breaking ball. But when he is kind of together and compact, just the way Lance Lynn was in his last outing, very much composed and then explode from there, as opposed to starting a little bit too fast in the beginning of your delivery, I think that's where you lose your command.
Get out over your front foot, do different things, arm dragging.
That was the off-speed pitch, and it's almost unfair, like we've said before. If he's able to locate 97 to 100 on the black, which more times than not he has been, then mixes in off-speed pitches for strikes. Flat out nasty. By the way, Michael Walker, I guess he is human, because his first start at Memphis, 4 innings, 2 runs. He actually walked 4. Carlos Martinez was late to spring training, visa issues. He's at extended spring. They'll begin him at Double-A, but they expect him to progress very quickly this summer. It's another power arm that can hit triple digits. Also, they talk about his breaking ball being one of the best in the organization. Popped up to the right side. Nice work by Rosenthal. Descalso is there near the line. Midway through 8. St. Louis with a 2-run lead. Let's go to our studio. Pat Paris standing by with a Bomberito Sports Update. Hello, Pat.
Hey, Dan, thanks very much. Nationals hosting the Braves tonight in D.C. Bottom first, Bryce Harper will hit a line drive. This is a 2-run shot the opposite way. Harper's 5th home run of the young season. Nats go up 2-zip early, but the Braves have come back now. It's tied 4-4 as they head to the 10th in the nation's capital. Dan Elrick, back up to you.
When you think about being inside the division, thank you, Pat. As you get a look at Tom Gorzolani, brought to you by Chevy. Teams will face each other 19 times, and Washington and Atlanta seem to be loaded for the run this year, the National League East. We've seen Tom Gorzolani for a long time.
Started with Pittsburgh. Last year he's with Washington, and he was not tendered a contract, signed as a free agent with the Brewers. Brewers really didn't make too many moves. They changed their bullpen a little bit with Gorzolani, and
made 19 relief appearances last season.
Aiden Hopp also was a right-hander that came from Tampa Bay, but they had a good second half, and so that kind of made them think they were going to be okay.
Descalso with a high fly ball. That'll stay in the ballpark. Gomez makes the catch.
And really, there's no way you can say it any different. John Axford is a big, important part of this club, one way or the other. If he doesn't get things straight, they need what he can bring. A guy that's saved a number of games in the last few years, who's lost his closer's role early on in this season. They can't really win without him.
Ron Renneke said it's going to be a situation in which they mix and match out of their bullpen. And prior to tonight's game, he said, Jim Henderson will be my closer tonight.
And I've been exactly how I was told. He is the closer tonight.
But you're exactly right. Talking with the Brewers personnel, they'll tell us that they've got to have Axford decent. And right now, he's not even at that point. With the blown saves and losing his job. Remember, he lost it last year, and the year before he was nearly perfect.
Tell you, their bullpen coach cannot be a nicer human being than Lee Tunnell, former Cardinal pitcher.
John Jay grounds out. Remember, this Sunday it's the Yadier Molina Gold and Platinum Glove Award. He'll receive that prior to the game, and you can take home the replica that you see right there. That's this Sunday, and tickets are still available. I was told by the folks over at Rawlings there's actual gold in that glove. They send the leather, the hide, over to Italy, and there's a place that puts the glove together with specks of gold and platinum in the other glove. I'm being serious. And he will be presented that glove. And the glove, by the way, it looks like it's a statue. It's actually, if you wanted to use it and break it in like a normal glove, you could. Now, you won't find information like that anywhere else.
On the giveaway?
That would not be the giveaway, Al.
I was going to say.
Because I'm sure you'll be in line and probably get your tent and make sure you're out by the Musial statue, one of the first guys in line for Sunday to get your replica.
I'm spending the night there tonight. Can I get the jersey tomorrow? Mr. Pitchman, can I get the jersey tomorrow?
Absolutely, Al.
We haven't talked about the alternate jersey.
I'll hook you up with whatever you need, Al.
I'm so glad I'm between you guys.
Matter of fact, I have the 2006 replica ring. Here you go, Al.
Thank you.
Also have the Beltran bobblehead just for you too, Al.
Thank you.
Right there. Not too bad, is it?
What else you have in that little bag?
Here's a handshake.
Yeah, thanks, Dan.
Great to see you. Hustle over to that post-game set. Bundle up. It's outside. 3-2. Boy, Matt Carpenter, going back to 2012, he's seeing over 4 pitches per at bat, and he's hit .276 against left-handed pitching. Such a tough at bat. Had it played perfectly over the bag at second, and the Cardinals do, though, go in order. Boggs is coming in when we come back.
Coming up after the game on the post-game edition of Missouri Lottery Cardinals Live, Pat Parris and Rick Horton will do the honors. 7 dominant innings for Shelby Miller. They'll break down his night. They'll take a look at Kyle Loesch's evening as well. Plus, we'll have Cardinal player reaction and Mike Matheny's post-game thoughts as well. Mitchell Boggs on to finish up for the Cardinals. We head back to the booth. And Dan, Rick, and Al, guys.
Happy 30th birthday to Teresa Casper watching tonight. And this could be a difference maker all season long. Brought to you by Barnes Jewish Hospital. And that is the Cardinals closer right now, and that's Mitchell Boggs. It's also part of our Chevy call to the pen.
So happy to see Mitchell Boggs get back into game 2 in the Red Series after a really rough outing on opening day here. He got back on the horse again and pitched very well, pitched a scoreless inning and had a strikeout. He threw a lot of pitches in that first game as well, but good to see him back. The Cardinals need him to be sharp, and what a performance it has been so far tonight for the Cardinal pitching.
Logan Schaefer is the pinch hitter here. Spent time at AAA and big leagues with Milwaukee a year ago.
Cardinals pitching has sent down 20 in a row. 17 of the 20 sent down by tonight's starter Shelby Miller.
Only hit of this game for Milwaukee was the leadoff batter, Aoki.
Ground ball right side. One away. AT Uverse rewind. Loesch, Miller, Molina. We highlight those three. Loesch, boy, he pitched well in his return to St. Louis. Miller, though, just a little bit better. And Yadier Molina, a couple of base hits, including a home run. The Cardinals only have 6 hits.
Well, remember, we thought that Loesch got in trouble, and they scored the first. Cardinals scored the first run on a ball that should have been caught. You know, as Ryan Braun went into left center, but he left his feet, and when he made contact with the ground, the ball popped out, and it felt like he caught it head high. Why was he ending up on the ground?
No walks in this game. This is the way baseball should be played. Just a crisper game when you have pitchers throwing strikes. We saw it from both starters, Loesch and Miller.
Aoki has the only hit for Milwaukee, one other base runner, and that was the hit by pitch of Alex Gonzalez. Knocked him out of the game, but hopefully, you mentioned the x-rays are negative, so hopefully he will just be out today and maybe back the rest of this weekend.
So 21 straight set down. Boggs trying to close it out. 2 balls and 1 strike. We've seen that more this year than we saw maybe at any point last year with Boggs, and that's, you know, something you guys were talking about before, where he's closed off. Sometimes the ball will sail in on a righty or away from the lefty.
But we've also noticed that he's not as closed as he was in spring training or opening day.
Tying run now comes to the plate. We remind you that Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by Bud Light. It's the sure sign of a good time. Here we go. And by your quality Ford dealers.
And that walk especially painful because that ensures, unless Segura hits into a double play, that we're going to see Ryan Braun hit one more time.
You bet.
Potential tying run is in the on deck circle. Remember, opening day it was a walk leading off the 9th inning that got him in trouble. Here he's got 1 out, and Rick and I were just talking also, Dan, that he's not as closed off as we saw him earlier, and I think that's, you know, a little bit more than last year, but not as much as he was in spring.
Little fly ball down the right field line. It's slicing and just foul. What do you think about Brandon Phillips opening day? Similar type, you know, little floater like that down the right field line that stayed fair, and then the rest is history.
Well, if you're thinking it, there are Cardinal fans thinking it, and there's probably a guy standing on the mound thinking about that, because it unraveled in a hurry for Mitch, and just needs a good pitch here to get back on track. He's ahead of Segura. Just finish him off.
Just 0-2. Got an over anxious young hitter get himself out.
The 0-2.
Too good a swing at an 0-2 pitch there.
We've seen that Segura can really run, so as we've talked about, tough to double up. Brewers are saying, please stay out of a double play. Cardinals are thinking hard hit ball, turn 2.
We're noticing too, though, when he was so closed off, he couldn't make that last pitch. He couldn't get it to that outside part of the plate.
Line drive, center field, base hit. And look who's coming up with a chance with one swing of the bat to put the Brewers on top.
Right down the middle of the plate, this pitch looked like. Let's see on Fox Tracks. Right down the middle of the plate. We talked about it, you know, when even though Boggs is our choice to be the closer, he had that disastrous opening day. It was important to get back in there, but it still was a non-save situation. So until you get the save, and now if he gets one here, he's definitely going to earn it, and he can start building the confidence. Still have confidence that Boggs is the right man.
Ryan Braun, 41 homers to lead the league a year ago. But tonight, prior to this at bat, has not looked comfortable. 0 for 3, 2 strikeouts, and against Boggs, just 2 hits in 11 at bats.
If I'm not mistaken, Mitchell Boggs went to the real closed off. Part of the reason was because Braun told him how tough he was, and that when he closed off even more, how scary that was.
These two played on the Team USA Ball Club, the World Baseball Classic, and back in spring training, I talked to Mitchell specifically about his setup. And in the clubhouse, he said Ryan Braun was one of the players that said to him, when you closed up, and he was talking about last year, he said your deception was very, very good. And let's face it, guys, when Boggs is right, he is nasty. I mean, that's 96 with great sink and movement. Crowd now comes alive. One and 2.
Good pitch to hit right there for Ryan Braun. He's still a little bit, I would say he's lunging a bit at the plate. You just see him moving.
I think it's more. I think it's
the pitcher.
It's more Braun, you know, a problem with Braun's swing than pitchers necessarily.
Here's a 1-2. Tail end of last year, we noticed how far Braun was off the plate. And seeing him for the first time this year, we can get a very good look. His setup, stance is not different, but he is very far off the plate.
Sometimes a guy that does that wants the ball, you know, away from him, but yet he's very good at covering the inside part.
Got him. He got him. Strikeout of Braun. I know Miller had some big strikeouts along the way, but maybe none bigger tonight than that one right there.
And the swing, very unbalanced swing for Ryan Braun. You're just not used to seeing that. He's always kind of a guy that has a good, stable lower half, and right there, he just doesn't look right.
Yeah, well, his lower half went one way and his upper body went another. It wasn't in sync.
Weeks,
and we're happy for it.
You bet.
Hitless in his career against Boggs. Fans on their feet.
On Monday, he could not get any ball to the outside part of the plate. He couldn't make that pitch. He was so closed off. Now he's more like he was last year, and he'll be fine. I just got to get this out, get this save, and then pronounce himself successful.
0-1 to Ricky Weeks. Make it 0-2.
Strikeout of Braun, I think, did a lot for his psyche, but you can't You can't just dwell on that. You got to get another tough hitter right now.
Tough hitter with good power. 0-2, press the advantage.
Make him expand his strike zone. Good
Got
pitch.
him. Cardinals win it. Boggs holds on, and the Cardinals take game 1 of this series. 2-0 the final. Timely hitting against their former mate Kyle Loesch. And Boggs able to pick up the save for Shelby Miller, who picks up his second win.
You can't say enough about the job that Shelby Miller did. Only 1 hit, 7 solid innings, not a lot of balls hit hard, and 8 strikeouts. He is our Budweiser player of the game.
Star to go 7 innings, things fall in place, but I think the elephant is off the back of Mitchell Boggs. Nice job.
Made it difficult at the end. His reaction to the strikeout. The emotion of Boggs early on this season. A night we honored the greatest Cardinal of them all, the Cardinals, ironically with 6 hits.